Mothership, welcome to another wellness weekend. I'm Kirsty from Kinetic Coaching. Today I would like to talk about rest and recovery and sleep, both in and out of the gym, but I'm firstly going to start with rest periods. So you've just finished doing your 12 to 15 back squats, you rack it back up, you shake it off, you think, yeah, I'm ready to go again. But what we need is about a 3-minute rest, and this is because when we are strength training, we're using the ATP-PC energy system. Now, I'm not going to say the words that they stand for, because adenosine triphosphate, but it's ATP-PC. And basically, they use phosphagens. Now, we only have a small reserve of those, so they take 15 seconds to use, but 3 minutes to build back up. Now, what this means is that's our energy restoring back to its full level to do that next set of your 12 to 15 squats. So for example, if a minute and a half into your rest period, you're thinking, I'm good, effectively you've only half restored your energy, which really you could say would equate to half effort going into your squats. So for the sake of just that extra minute and a half, you've fully recovered, you've fully filled up your phosphates again, and you're more likely to either hit more weight or more reps, obviously depending on what your goal is and what you're aiming for. So it's definitely worth doing. I know that I am the world's biggest hypocrite because I make all my clients do it. I preach about the importance of it, and then I sit there after a minute and a half with like my twitchy toes, like, come on, I just need to get going. So what I tend to do is I will pick something that I know will take me a few minutes or a minute, because I can rest for a minute without getting fidgety, and then I'll just reply to one message, or I'll tick off one thing on my checklist that I know I've already done today, just doing one little task so that I don't get too carried away. Because, you know, if you're looking at a 4 to 5 minute rest, then you might get out of the zone mentally for lifting your weights and you lose your momentum. And yeah, you're also just going to be there for a very long time. An extra 2 minutes per rest, you know, some squats and things like that, you might do 4 to 6 sets of, so that will add up over your session and take a lot longer than is necessary. So 3 minutes is your optimum rest time in between your sets. Rest days, so yeah, that's your rest periods in between your sets. Rest days in between the gym. So there are cells called fibroblasts. Again, I'm looking at my sheet because I just forget all these big names. I know what they do, but when it comes to saying the name, it just goes. Yeah, fibroblasts. So basically, when your muscles are growing, the simplest way to explain it is that you create little tears in them, and then effectively protein cells, fibroblasts, will come along and fill in those gaps. Essentially muscle growth in a very small nutshell. So if you don't give those fibroblasts time to do that, then there's no recovery. You're just making more and more tears, but they're not repairing. That's not optimal muscle growth, and you actually will probably just do damage. You'll lose form because your muscles will be fatigued, and therefore you're more prone to injury. So yes, make sure you have rest days. Now, this doesn't mean you can train one day and then you need to have a day off. You could do, depending on what your split is. So for me at the moment, I do 2 lower body sessions. I do a push and a pull. So pull is back related, push is more chest related. So pushing things away from your body, chest, shoulders, triceps, pulling things towards you, your back and your biceps. So I would do a lower body, then my push session, then have 2 days off. Then I do my lower body and back session in whichever way I feel, because I've already had my 48-hour rest. And then I've got another 24 hours before I train again. That's my personal split. Some people just do an upper and a lower, so obviously that's you've got easy time to fit in your rest periods. Cardio and your steps and things, they're not necessarily needed because we have an active rest day. So yeah, it doesn't quite work the same. It's more about your muscle hypertrophy and your strength training, where you do need to make sure you're having adequate rest between training the same muscle group. Yes, and then the next thing I'd like to talk about is sleep. Again, we've got such busy lives that you think, oh, I'm fine, I only need 6 hours, or I only need 5 hours, or yeah, I haven't slept great, but that's fine, I'll push through. Sleep is effectively the only time where your active body stops, or your physical body, should I say, and your brain goes, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to go and sort the biceps out. We need to fix her mind because she's been very stressed at work. We need to just have a little check through, make sure everything's functioning how it should be. It's like a daily reset. Sometimes people say, oh, I have to sit down with a glass of wine after a busy day at work because that's my time to wind down. Well, sleep is effectively your body's time to wind down. Although it's incredibly active because it's going around making things happen, it's very at peace at the same time. It gives you time for your mind. It's the best time. It would be before you go to sleep, do a little bit of meditation, or even just what me and my sister call it, cleansing your mind. So just stop thinking about anything that's work related, anything that's stressing you out. And if you can't do that without, just by lying there, have a notepad by your bed. So anything that you're thinking, just write it down. I find that that's effectively like emptying my mind at that point, because I've now written it down. I don't have to worry about forgetting it. By writing it down, I feel like I've started dealing with it. And it could be something as simple as I still haven't emptied the dishwasher. Honestly, it could be that simple, because at 10 o'clock at night, how stressful is the fact that you haven't emptied the dishwasher? But it is, and they'll be the smallest things, but they will play on your mind and they will stop your brain and your body just being able to repair itself, reset itself for the next day. Highly recommend some form of meditation or breathing exercise, mindfulness, whatever it is that suits you. And I was always the person that said I don't have time for that, but then I did have time to scroll through Facebook or Instagram for half an hour on my phone when I went to bed because I was so tired. So it is worth prioritising just 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take a long time. You might find it builds up nicely and you actually want to do more. But yes, highly recommend it. So rest periods, 3 minutes between sets is your optimal time. Rest days, 24 to 48 hours between training the same muscle group. Not necessarily just training, it's about the muscle group that you're doing. And sleep. Give your body time to repair and reset from everything it does for you and with you throughout the day in our crazy, crazy lives. I hope that's helpful. Obviously, if you want any more information or if anything was helpful, please let me know in the comments. Massively appreciate any feedback or further questions. And I look forward to everyone else who's taken part in the Wellness Weekend.